Okay, one bathtub. So this is stretching watercolour paper. I'm going to work with A4 size to begin with, and which is this sheet I've got here. I'm going to soak it in the tub for probably about 4 minutes, and then we'll take it out. It should end up coming like a very kind of wet cloth, very floppy cloth when it comes out. Okay, so give that a try and see how we get on. Alright, so just going to run it in bit by bit, just work it in the water a little bit so it gets nicely covered. Right, okay, this is a stretcher board, okay. Basically what it is, it's 3 pieces of MDF. You've got one inside there, which is probably about 1 centimetre in. And you've got 2 large pieces on the outside, kind of glued and screwed together, okay. And to go around the outside of those, I've got a little bit of climbing rope, that's all it is, which kind of jams in the paper all the way around. I'll write down the dimensions and kind of give you those as well, okay, as we go along. An old tea towel, as you can tell. Just kind of soak up a little bit of water. The paper's already soaking in the bathtub, so we'll see what happens shortly. Okay, right, here we go. This is the very wet watercolour paper laid down nice and flat on the kitchen towel that we've got. And then come in with your board. Try and get this on nice and straight, so it's dead centre. So look over it before you touch the paper. Keep looking. I think there's about right. Lightly press it down, okay. Then what I tend to do is kind of roll it back towards you. I'll try and show you on the screen here. It's not easy because I'm rolling it back, but I'll try and show you that. If you lightly kind of tuck over this edge, like so, do that first. Once you get one piece of rope in, the rest of it straight forward. I get an old brush, that's all I do. This is like very wet cloth at the moment, so it's very good. It's easy to kind of bend and move around. And kind of crease that in there, that's all I'm trying to do initially. Just so I can get an edge to work with. Then once you've done that, you come in with your long piece of string, or a rope in this case. This is the climbing rope I use. And then, carefully, push that in to trap the paper in the gap. Okay, I think you can just about see that on the screen. Like so. Then I'm going to turn that over. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to gently kind of tweak the paper with my fingers. Just kind of pull it a little bit. Don't pull it too hard though. Don't tear it because it's quite soft. Because obviously it's all wet. And a bit soaked. And then again, do the same again. I'm just kind of lightly pulling it at the same time as I'm doing this. Just so it goes in nice and tight. Into the little gap I've got. You know what's coming next, don't you? Yes, the rope. It's Paul with his rope again. Okay, so then you get your rope. And then again, same thing applies. Push the rope in to trap the paper. Okay, turn it around and do the same again on this edge. You can use a sponge, a damp or wet sponge, just kind of sponge out any marks, any creases. Try and get some air bubbles out from underneath the paper. And then you do the same again. Lightly pull it, like I said, not too hard though. And then gently push this edge in. All the way around, all the way along. I'm lightly pulling at the same time. Then get your rope again. And can you see that there? Just about. Gently push the rope in. In this case I'm going quite firmly because it's not going in as easy as I expected, that bit. Okay. Because that bit's not down there. Just push that bit down. Okay, so that's one other edge done. And if you want to, you can just kind of tweak that in with the edge of your paintbrush. Use an old paintbrush, you don't want to damage your paintbrush obviously. And these edges, all I do, just fold them, crease them. And you can put a little line crease there, and then come to the other side. This is the last edge. Again, you can, if you wish to, Get a damp sponge and just lightly sponge it to take out any excess water underneath, very lightly. And again, and lightly pulling this, kind of tweaking it lightly, and then that will go inside my little gap. Using the edge of the paintbrush again, as you can see, just to push it in gently. Trying to push too hard, you don't want to push through the fabric or through the watercolour paper. And tweak that in. And the same applies again with the last piece of rope. This one's a bit short actually, I just noticed that, so I'll just come in a little bit further, which will trap that paper in, and if you want to, you can just tack it down. And again, the edges, just crease them. They'll dry nice and hard, these edges as well, so you can always trim them off if you want to afterwards. Don't trim them right up, just trim the fine area there off. Okay? So, that is basically how I stretch watercolour paper. Now when that dries, that'll dry drum taut, which means that when you wet it again, it shouldn't warp quite as much. Okay? It might warp a little bit, but it should dry again nice and flat. So you should end up with a nice flat painting at the end of the painting session. Hope that helps you, and let me know, give it a go. I'm going to try and put the measurements that I've done for this stretching board and made up, kind of give you some ideas of what to do, and then you can go from there. Remember, when you put this in the water in the bath, or in the sink, or whatever you want to do, don't leave it in for more than probably 4 or 5 minutes for A4. That's plenty of time for that. Okay? Right, talk to you again soon. I hope you like that one, but I just say I'll do this one for you.